The fourth point is about a smaller and better government, with the people's money being spent wisely on giving them the best level of services. Now, I want to say this in Carrick. I value, and have always valued, the capacity and the work and the ability of public servants to deliver public services. But the system, unfortunately, strangles the initiative of so many people that leaves them frustrated day after day, and has the consequence of what the man told me this evening in the frontline service. Because the chop comes across the board, the frontline services get hit first, and pressurises the quality of those services even more than it should. Our system, will deliver a savings of $5 billion a year when implemented. And I want to make this perfectly clear. I support the work that is carried out by our doctors, and by our nurses, and by our teachers, and by our Gardaí, and by our physiotherapists, and by those who deliver essential services in state departments, in county councils, and authorities around the country. And I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the quality of the service that they deliver for you, the ordinary people of Roscommon, South Leitrim, and the taxpayers and all the people around the country. That's what's really important. And what's happened here is that it's been let grow out of proportion. The human resource manager of the HSE said some time ago, I have 2,000 people working in HR for the HSE, and I could do this job with 700. And that's coming from inside the system. And when you talk to any public official, they will point out to you where there is waste in the system, where there is fat in the system, and as a consequence, that dilutes the work of those delivering frontline services in the way that it should. So what we want to do is to streamline those. The government's programme at the moment is to have 12,000 people be removed from the public sector by retirement and natural attrition. We want to increase that by a further 18,000 over 4 years, all by voluntary redundancy. All by voluntary redundancy. So what we're looking for is a mandate from the people to actually negotiate that with the unions and the personnel involved. I want to stress to you here in Carrick that this is not about compulsory redundancies or forcing people out. Rather, is it streamlining the system to make it much more effective. Example, I was in a social welfare office in Donegal during the by-election. And the good woman there said to me, well, when somebody walks in here, we take down their name and address and all their details. And then we send them down the road to the HSE for a medical card. And the name and address is taken down again and all the details. And then they go looking for job seekers allowance or looking for a course or a module to better themselves. And again the name and address is taken down and all the details. And then they go looking for a medical card because they're unemployed, and the same thing happens again. There are 1,500 offices around the country doing that every day. And you know yourselves, with the way technology now is, these things do not have to be as extensive as they are. Why is it that the man in the same town said to me, I run a small retail shop here. I run a small retail shop. And yet the government don't help me. I said, what kind of help do you want? He said, all I need is a single certificate on the wall to say that I'm a compliant retailer. But because I have newspapers and because I have teas and coffees and sandwiches and whatever else, he said I need 21 licenses to do my job. The amount of red tape and administration and time wasting that goes on, that should all be streamlined and make it easier for people to actually do business. Sense, what we're about here is dealing with the reality of a system that has strangled initiative and creativity and so on. And I want to see out of this that we can follow our own path of progress. Because if it's not dealt with, the crisis is not going to go away. There is no point in turning our backs at this, and if it's let continue, what you end up with is the destruction of the Croke Park deal, the implementation under the IMF-EU agreement, where they're going to have to go back, for which the government have already signed on, to look at the delivery either through jobs or pay cuts in the public sector. I want to see that avoided because Fine Gael have defended the pay element of the Croke Park Agreement, and we're giving a guarantee of no increase in income tax. And as I said, what we want are low taxes, high growth, and a strong economy. So this is an issue that must be dealt with in a fair way, and what we're looking for is a mandate for the streamlining of public services that will deliver for everybody, even for those who work within it, to give them more job satisfaction, more responsibility, and so on.